Check, check, check. All right, let me know if that audio is back up now. We good there? We good there? Anybody? Anybody? Checking audio, checking audio. Audio, audio, audio. I think we got it fixed right there. Let me know in the comments there if we're good to go. All right, so everybody's good to go. Nebraska ends up heading to Champaign on Friday, getting a victory. Maybe we are, I don't know, maybe we're a Friday team. But at the end of the day, here's the main thing. Here's the only thing that we needed to get accomplished. You got to win. And was it a pretty win? No. Was it a gift? Really? I mean, Illinois did a lot in that game, just to give it to Nebraska. Say, here, just take this win, call it a day. Nebraska at times didn't seem to want to take the win, but in the end did. All part of growth, all part of progress, all part of all of these things. It just is what it is, and we are what we are right now. Nebraska just needs to find a way to win football games. That's really all that needs to happen. If they can do that, if they can make that happen, honestly, just between us girls, that's good enough for me. Like, the time of pretty win for us is not now. It's not. We don't need that. We just need to find a way to win games. And if we can find a way to win games, now you become problematic. We talked about it last week that we can carve out a path to get to 6 wins. Even as bad as everything has gone, we can find a path to get to a bowl game. It seems so defeatist, so horrible, so bad, or what we shouldn't be used to say, but that's okay, right? Like a good dose of reality is hard for people. A good dose, it's a difficult thing because no one anywhere wants to be told, hey, you're pretty mediocre, like you're pretty average, run of the mill. When you say that to some folks, they'll get pissed and they'll, oh, we're not that, we're this, we are not. We are far from that. But things you can take, thank you, David. I agree with David. Things you can take away from that and you can get to are progress. Because the backside, like we talked about, that schedule is not a world beater. Now, does play in every aspect of our team, except maybe the defense. Still looking for depth on the defense. But can that improve, right? Can that get better? Offensively, yes, a million times better. Things have to change. Okay, we've already got tons of compliments into the section here about offensive line, about firing people, about this, about that. You just have to walk away with a win. That's it. The only goal ever is 1 point more right now for Nebraska. Northwestern next. What's your goal? 1 point more. That's it. Because you get that opportunity, you get the chance to get to a bowl game. That somebody had written an article that said, "Oh, you have to reset your goals." Of your season. If your goal wasn't just to get to a bowl game, you're delusional. New coach, turning over roster, new system, new everything, new defense, new special teams coordinator. If you think past that is what you're going to accomplish, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. So, but thank you guys all to join us. If my voice sounds a little bit hacked up, oh yeah, we did get everything back up on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. or X, whatever it is now. Voice a little hacked up. I had to MC an event last night at Scott Catholic. It was their Angel Flight evening. So if you are in attendance to that, thank you guys all for that. It was a fun night, but it's a lot of talking, a lot of people just gossiping around. By the way, sometimes it's just in the morning, I'm not ready. And I didn't get up early enough to send out any kind of messages. Um, as you watch that game kind of over and over again, that thought or that question, that drive, like who is the dog? Like who's the dogs on that team? And with Illinois continue like trying to give the game away, like just give you opportunities to really like put it out of hand almost. And you couldn't like take advantage of those, right? Like you couldn't get that. Like Illinois turned the ball over, on issues, and we recover fumbles, and we have all these chances, and that's a step, right? That that's when like all of the other day-to-day operation, the minutia of everything is kind of taking itself out of the mix, and you're focusing on the greatness. For example, how many times like when your guys are watching games and the game's going down and you guys are watching and a turnover happens, the announcer inevitably will say, I could really see them taking a shot here, meaning we've just made a big play. Let's make a bigger play and just try to squash these guys. Like just try to just demolish them, remove them from the game altogether. Let's just get a big splash play. Let's get a touchdown here and just call it and go. And not saying Nebraska needs to be in that mindset, but Nebraska's got to take advantage of opportunities given. And that opportunity given was, turnover. Like convert those things. Get those done. The defense for Nebraska, I mean, it's they answer the bell more often than not. They answer the bell when put in bad situation. Are they perfect on it? No. But do they time in and time out take a bad scenario and get what would be the best case scenario exit out for Nebraska? Yeah. I think they do more often than they don't. I mean, you look at their stat line now, they gave up 310 yards of offense on 66 plays. So they're having 4-7 a play. The passing 289, kind of a bend but don't break mentality. 21 yards rushing. 21 yards rushing on 19 attempts. 1.1. A 1.1 yard average. That's impressive. That's impressive. I forgot Walter hated Brett Bielema. Bloated Bert looked miserable on the sidelines Friday night. Big fear for me going into that game. I am, as you guys know, a Chicago Bears fan. So to watch the Bears go out and look like they actually knew how to play football competently and beat the Commanders of Washington, I was like, oh boy, that's one alumni organization that Dick Butkus was a part of. Illinois is another alumni organization that Dick Butkus, who is the OG 51. Like there's no other. We can all put the number on and say, oh, that's it, but Dick Butkus was the man. Like he was awesome. Had the chance not to fangirl on this, but had the chance to walk like that's something he was signing autographs by. And the quick wit and the barb and the delivery. I didn't interact with the man, but just to be in his presence was cool. I thought Illinois would respond better. Like I thought Illinois would come out and be real good. I really did. I was scared they were going to come out fired up and we were going to be in trouble and we couldn't match anything. So But the game just last week I was pissed. Pissed with sorry about all the sniffs. Pissed with it's not Coke. Pissed with all of the like lackluster performance against Michigan. Pissed that I couldn't get any of the audio or technical crap to work. I was just pissed. And then this game, as I got into it, and we had a game Friday night, so I didn't get the chance to watch it. Got to rewatch it, which is kind of a fun exercise. But it just seemed uninspired. Like it seemed like, okay, we know we've watched film, we know we're better. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna do this? And that's I was I wasn't pissed about it. I just expected more. Right. I didn't expect a rock fight. I didn't expect 10 penalties for 170 yards. I didn't expect fumbles. Thankfully, Nebraska recovered the fumbles, but and fumbles on the same technical breakdowns that you're having fumbles on before. Like, that's tough for me. I went back and talked to a couple running backs just to make sure I wasn't crazy. I said, techniques evolve and every guru's got some new way to do stuff. And that's why a lot of my old stuff that I use to teach offensive linemen, straight Milt Tenneper, Dan Young playbook. It ain't, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I don't need to have a new version, but those 5 points of pressure, like high tide across the chest. It can't be. It can't be any more. Oh, if you could do this, this is great. You could steal a great scene out of the program. You could give all the running backs, all the quarterbacks of football. So you're walking to class with this on. You're carrying this to class. The point of the ball should be at your sternum. The rest of it should be pressed against your chest. If you want to make some cuts on campus, go ahead. But where you are as a program and an organization, you can't leave that to chance. You can't leave a silly fumble to chance. If you watch the fumble that happened with Grant, it's on a cut. And it's just like it was in the Minnesota game. He's in a great position. He reads the hole. He sees what he's got to do. He's going to cut. And when he goes to cut, the ball comes away from his body. His elbow opens up a little bit instead of keeping that thing just pinned against his chest here. Just pinned here. Runs, cuts, the whole thing. Lamont Green, great at it. Poetry in motion. Like very smooth with it. But even as he cut, still had it there. Drill it till it becomes muscle memory. Because with Northwestern, Purdue, Michigan State, 3 winnable games, you can't have something silly affect those games. Because they can be, they probably are going to be tight games. You could be driving down to score, and if you fumble and it costs you the game over something you could have prepared, something you could have taken care of without a doubt. Nebraska offense in the game, it was dead even pretty much. 312 total, 154 passing, probably a number that is about right. 158 passing, or sorry, 158 rushing. That one needed to go up quite a bit for me. I know we talk about the struggles of the offensive line. I know there's a lot that has to get worked on. I don't know how it isn't changing, how it isn't evolving, how it doesn't look different to us than it has before. You know, that's you can't have those things happen. You just really can't. We're halfway through the season. We look to be the very same as we are up front. Like we don't see forward progress. Like we don't see things being done to make it more competent, to make it better. We did get YouTube back up, so John is happy. He's not on his wife's Facebook account. Didn't want to destroy her image. Thanks for YouTube. Shit, goddamn fuck. There, I got some off last week instead of on my wife's Facebook. Tim says, is Henrik Harburg starting moving forward, or will Jeff Sims start in 2 weeks? I would. Okay. I guess my question is this: does it matter who's actually listed as the starter of the game? And I'll go somewhere with this, promise. If it matters, like, oh, that guy starts the game, then I think you could see Heinrich Harburg continue to start, but you could then see Jeff Sims rotate in, almost like a 2-quarterback setup. Which, as much as you go out of shotgun, like, people used to not like a 2 QB setup. They used to not like 2 people, the rotation of the under center. Part of it, oh, it's weird for the center. He's got 2 different snaps. Everybody receives the ball differently, blah, 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 blah. Out of gun, it doesn't matter. I'll be honest. Out of gun, it's not a deal. Out of gun, it can be. Now, here is the reason why I would continue to start Harburg. Okay? Here's how I would do it. I would start Harburg, but then I would sprinkle Sims in. Okay? With the lack of depth at running back, I would use them both as running backs. Not saying like go back to the 40s and run the T formation and that kind of stuff, which I'll do. I do think that would be hilarious. And you are seeing professional and college teams start to integrate some T formation stuff into their schemes. Another conversation for another day. With your roster makeup, what you have or where you lack, you can make that better by using a person that's talented at another position. Now, would I hand the ball to Sims or have him receive the snap? That's where the catch-22 comes in. And Harburg has dropped snaps as well, so I shouldn't just pick on Sims. But if you get it where you can hand the ball off to one of the 2 of them, and then they just become a running back, create some interesting scenarios, create some stuff that you could get done. I do see Heinrich Harburg continue to start. I do see Jeff Sim playing, though. At the event last night, or when I got back to Paisans, our bartender G, it's kind of all in a huff. G's more of a baseball guy than he is a football guy. What's all right? Somehow this microphone will cut out or it'll mute itself every now and then. So, yep, I think we're back. If you see me like, well, I'll just say audio or something, and about every 10, 15, 20 minutes, this thing will kick me off. I don't know why. If any of you out there are tech people and you know why, let me know, because I have no fucking clue why it does this. But I think you are able to use some guys that you have on scholarship and oh man, and you could. It's just a value. It's just a value. That's. I mean, it is what it is. We'll just read a couple of these as we go down the way here and wait for our next audio issue. Brian says, "Morning, Verse. Nice W against Illinois. My take after the game is that it might be sloppy, but no way. We win Friday night with the last head coach on the sidelines." Yeah, it's. I've turned the page on it. I'm just good with it. Try not to talk about it as much as I did at one time. But the passive aggressive D bag in me always like to take a couple parting shots. Some call it petty. I call it me. It's just the way it goes. John says, "I don't care that things didn't look perfect on Friday night. These guys won a game. There's still too many guys in that field that don't remember what winning feels like." It's a powerful statement there. You can get a lot. Got some speculation on another part that everybody thinks Walter is Gary Sharp. So Sharpie, if that's you, if you are Walter, just put Gary Sharp on there. Or spell it backwards. Do something funnier than Walter. Yeah. The In the past, I've talked about my experience getting to coach in Malcolm. One of the best times that I've had. It really was. Love that place to death. Um, but in my Neanderthal brain, coming from a successful high school, are we good? Coming from a successful, I think I got it figured out. Coming from a successful college program, a successful high school program, winning wasn't. You didn't walk out thinking, "Man, we're going to lose." And going to Malcolm and like the first lesson to teach was that we are not here to get beat. It's amazing how quickly the mindset of losing can take over your brain. It can take over how you view. It's nuts. It's the craziest thing ever. But then once you get used to winning, and that becomes the expectation, the ability to work and get a win is so much more satisfying. And I know that sounds stupid, than going out and being lazy and expecting to lose. And it really messed like with the minds of a couple of our opponents because you're the homecoming game. Malcolm used to be the homecoming game. Hey, who you playing on homecoming? Malcolm. All right, cool, win. But when you rewire the brain, we went and ruined. Hey, it was a great ploy for me because everybody got all pissed off at Ryan Day and Washington State's head coach for yelling at the old guys. And I talked to some of the fellows about this. I'm like, listen, man, I guarantee Ryan Day had a ton of respect for Lou Holtz. He's a storied coach. You value what he thinks of your team. He comes out and calls you soft. It's going to piss you off. 100% is going to piss you off. Coaches will find ways to motivate players because you run out of things. You do. Guy at Washington State getting pissed off about Lee Corso. That guy's watched that show since he was born. Since he was a kid and fell in love with football. Now you have the guy that picks the games that says no one cares about your team. Yeah, he's going to get pissed. He's going to be mad. I used it in Malcolm. Hey, let's go ruin a homecoming. That was all I had to say by then. It was awesome. Okay, we're on here at homecoming, 4 games. Looks like we're going to run 4 homecomings. Then we got to win our own homecoming game. Here we go. Did we win all of them? No. Did we play well in all of them? Yeah. Were the boys pissed off, fired up? And yeah, because it's a game of emotion. The reason I tie all this all long statement in is because Nebraska has to fall in love with the process that produces wins. I think that got lost in the sauce. Callahan era. probably not enough structure. Okay, Pelini era, structure. Winning is the expectation. Crazy, over the top competitive dude is your leader. Riley era, not so much. Other guy era, my scheme will win us games. Okay, I don't think that's how it goes. Your X's and O's are cute, but you got to have some Jimmys and Joes. If your Jimmys and Joes can't pull that off, then. But those losses compact in your brain. Okay, well, this guy says this is what his brilliance is. This is what's going to result in. This old grandpa guy says if we do this, we're going to go out there and win. Hip hip hooray! We're going to get it. But the process to prepare to do all the little to win is what you have to fall in love with. It seems crazy for people, and it really, sports at a high level never really click for guys until you realize that the elites, your Phillies, your San Frans, you pick whoever you want in the AFC. I'm an NFC guy. When they go to prepare, they are not preparing for an opponent. They're not. They're preparing to be the best San Francisco 49er team. They're preparing to be the best Philadelphia Eagle team. They're not preparing to beat the Rams. And that's where it gets different. Nebraska right now is going out to play to beat Illinois. Nebraska, in their preparation, and this is from the player side, they're not going out right now. And I'll just use the offensive line because it's a sitting duck. When they prepare, they're not preparing to be an offensive line that was held in the highest regard like the olden days. Because if that was the goal, then it would look drastically different, in my opinion. And you can give me the talent and you can give me, all the comment. That's fine. But the thing of it is, when I watch them, they're working so much on individual technique that still breaks down. The cohesion of the group is what I would focus on more. Let's put ourselves in the annals of history. Let's have that be our goal. Let's work on that so they start to, instead of talking bad about one of us, they talk good about all of us because we play so well together. That's when it becomes different. And that's when things really will start to go for them. But watching it, you can see there's still worry about it. And that's just over a ton, billion years of coaching, 25. I've seen a lot. As I also told you, and I know it's high school level, but one of my most soul crushing things in my life is that I couldn't do that with kids at Omaha Northwest. Selfishly, in my setup, my linemen were. It was just the rest of it, we couldn't get it all together. But in this, Nebraska's still learning and figuring itself out. And I know it sounds odd to say game 6, but it's a win. And there's nothing to pick apart. Man, the 24-hour rule, like if Rule said, hey, you boys got 24 hours, O Street better been aware on Saturday night. They should have went out and then had a time. They should have been out and had a time. Walter's on his bag today. He says in 26 games in South Carolina, Satterfield's putrid offense turned it over 51 times. Got to start to be a focus. Got to start to be a reason. David says didn't believe this before, but the more I see of the O line, I wonder if Raiola wasn't kept in hopes to keep his nephew to come to Lincoln. Like you said, O line doesn't look much improved since the beginning of the season. Um, I do think they wanted to. The last thing you want to do with a coach, and especially like a coach that in a roundabout way that staff has ties to. Um, Rayola's mentor or who he was with at a couple stops with the Bears and with Notre Dame. He Henry Heistad, who's held in high regard. Harry Heistad, sorry, Harry, one of those two. I'm sure Favors got called in. I think Donovan can be a good coach. I think he needs, again, still learning his room, like still learning how to operate that, still learning how to do everything in that manner. As we all know, though, right now, college football is a results based business. And right now, he will tell you probably the same. He will defend his guys, but behind, closed doors, he knows his guys have to be better. Now, on a good note, like take this for what you will. In 2 more games, that will leave you your 4 remaining at the end of the season. And that wonderful rule now that exists, those last 4 games, you can play true freshmen and they can maintain their eligibility. So now, if things are going and you do see Sammy Sledge maybe sneaks his way in the game, that's a good thing. If you see the Knutson kid get in there and start to play, that's a good thing. With guys being able to declare and then CFP and all that stuff, they had to alter the rule that will also allow those guys to play in the bowl game. So now your young guys can get 5 games of college rep play. So for them, as long as they are on their grind and they are getting better, those are rays of hope. Maybe that you see guys that these are Raiola dudes that he's taught from the start. So their changes have to be made. Coaches know. Coaches know. We got 3 texts out today. Hoskinson just said he couldn't make it on. He's got to coach his little guys. Taylor's probably still asleep. And who knows what Foreman's up to. But if you get a chance to see these young guys now, you're going to have a clearer vision of what your future will look like. And maybe plugging in a couple of these pieces as they bring these guys in, it works. There are red shirts that are going to be burned. The Johnson kid that's running back, they chose him. This is the second game he's played in. So if they have some other way to try to navigate that, if they're really working fleeks in the backfield, if it is going to be a 2-quarterback setup where they're actually both in the game at the same time, you view them both as running backs, away you go. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that's going to be really interesting to watch in the last 6 games on how Nebraska manages the roster. And sometimes necessity just dictates it. Sometimes necessity says, hey, guys hurt, you got to play. There you go. But the offensive line itself has to evolve. I think Ben Scott does a good job just directing it and making sure everybody's on the same page with the scheme. That everybody knows, hey, this is who we're declaring as our point. If you want to call it a point man, if you want to call it Mike, whatever you want to call it. And then he goes out and executes. in different phases or different positions on the line is where sometimes it breaks down. A good goal for them would be to set up I would set up initiatives or I don't know, bounties maybe, but I don't think you can use bounties. It's not very politically correct. But 100% accuracy on plays as a group. So I would, the way that we used to get evaluated, Coach Teneper would watch your play. If you got a 2, you knew what you were doing and you physically did it. You physically accomplished the goal. Then, of course, you got a pancake. He threw, a little pea underneath your thing, and it was great. Number 1 is you either knew physically or you knew mentally what you're supposed to do, and physically you didn't do it, or you didn't mentally know what you were doing, but you went hard and still blocked. Okay. So that was a 1. A 0, which you hated to see, was you didn't do anything right. You didn't do shit right. You got a 0. So you would take the number of plays you played, you would take your total score, you average that, and come out, 1.85. That was your grade for the game. If they still do some kind of grading, I would eliminate that part, or I'd keep that part to myself. Okay, I'm going to use this, and what I would view it as is the line as a whole. Did all 5 guys do their job correctly with great physical effort? I take that same grading scale and I put it into the 5. So now I'm linking them together. But you could have somebody that had a great game. You could have somebody that did fantastically. But then you look at the offensive line grade, the offensive line grade is like a 1.2. He's like, hey, man, what happened here? The coach has to say, yeah, you may know what you're doing, but the rest of it doesn't work. If we go 3 out of 5 are right on a play, we're done. We're cooked. All 5 have to be right. All 5 have to be physically able every play. That's it. They say we want to view you as one unit. Now you're getting graded as one unit, and see how psychologically that takes over them, that helps them. That would be a change I would make in this off week. That would be something that I would look at. That's what I would do. Everybody got jokes today. I got my dog telling me to push the on button. Yeah, I got it every now and then. I don't know how and if Nebraska comes at everybody with an ask for money for Tony White, the defense coordinator, just kick some in the pot. I'm going to contribute to that. Week in and week out, and I know Michigan, different thing. Michigan, you saw the difference in what grown men football is and where we're at. Okay. Did I expect that to be closer? Did I expect them to wear Nebraska's front down as quick as they did? No. But did I know it was going to happen? Yes. Yeah. I knew that was going to be the deal. I knew that's how it was going to go. But what he's able to do, and it's actually very refreshing to me to be able to watch a football game and say, okay, if the offensive side of the ball struggles, they can really lean on the defensive side of the ball. I'm at times very hard on the Gifford kid. He had a game. Like he looked like a different player to me. He was very clear in understanding what was coming at him, making a break on the ball, and then making the play. Open field tackling. Were there a couple misses in the game? Yeah. Here's the thing, like with the open field tackling, that piece of it, Illinois got guys on scholarship too. And with 85 scholarships, you're going to have, they probably have access to some people they haven't in the past. So that they've got playmakers. They recruit hard, they want to win. But overall, I mean, Nebraska's ability to make those plays, 2 huge short yardage stops, one on the goal line, one on 4th down. To be honest, as I watched, I was chalking those both up. I went in blind. I was like, this is a touchdown. No problem. Boom. Bowed your back, make a play, stop at the goal line. Like, awesome. 4th down, near midfield. They've got to start to get some stuff going. Boom, make a play. Hand up in the air when they had the ball late in the game, they were driving, they could have made it like a 20-14 game. If your butthole puckered a little bit, I was in that camp. I was like, oh boy, they're tired. Here they go. They're walking it. Bend, but don't break. Got to 4th down. Gifford made a play. Surprised they didn't call pass interference. Don't care that they didn't. They didn't call it. It doesn't exist. Get the ball back. You win the game. When teams are trying to find an identity and they're trying to build themselves, oftentimes they don't have any phase of the game they can lean on. Nebraska can lean on its defense. For stability of your organization, I don't care if you make Coach White the 2nd or 3rd highest paid defensive coordinator in the country, because that stability allows you, it buys you time. You like a full season of sample size, I get it. But from what I've seen that he's able to do in a short amount of time, and now that has been maintained, I think he's worth every penny. Because if you start to get a defensive line into the building that is not a shot at the current defensive line, here's a better phrasing of it. If you start to get depth on your defensive line that you can rotate guys in, you become a big problem. Love Ty Robinson to death. Think he's better at the 0. I think a rotation of he and Huntmacher is a big problem. I think you need somebody that's a little bit bigger size, not a little smaller size than Ty, but with a little more lateral agility to kind of control the edge. He does a great job. He gives amazing effort. But to know that you can lock down the middle with those 2 guys in and year out, like if I had a wish list where you could start the season over again, it would be that Nebraska had more defensive linemen. Because we're seeing these guys give balls to the wall effort. Like any and everything they can give in that game, they are giving it. There are just times when they get tired. 2 more guys, 3 more guys. And I think you have a defense they would talk about for a long time. If they could just pick up defensive linemen. So giving him that opportunity to get defensive linemen in and then really seeing what that can do, be unbelievable. It would be unbelievable. I really, really feel that. But I would back up the Brinks truck to him. And if national media wants to say, oh, God, here goes Nebraska, this is another bad move 1 year, blah, 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 don't care. Because my eyes tell me what I'm seeing. My eyes tell me. Those guys are technically sound. They are very well coached. They know responsibility. If we think about from when we had to look back in the day, it's something that has to happen. Because there will be people that come after him if they haven't already that we just don't know about. I'm back to the comment section. Brian just reiterating some stuff that I thought. I never thought we were going to lose a game at Gish. Sure, we lost some, but never felt like we couldn't win any of the games we were playing at. Goes back to our talk about mindset. John says losing is a habit, so is winning. One habit is easy for him, one habit is not. The last two coaches let the easy habit form. Mentality. It's the mental side of the game is what Nebraska needs to work on, especially offense. Which ties in here to Fred's question: what would you do to help the offensive line be better? Or is it a matter of developing the younger guys to step in when their time comes? The biggest thing that I would do for that offensive line right now is that's there's a lot. There's a lot that you do and a lot you can make happen. It's just a matter of getting those things accomplished. Okay. What I would do, number one, is I would meet with them and I would say, okay, give me the give me the 4 to 6 plays you feel the utmost confidence in. What are the 6 that you just love up and down? Now, not you individually, not you individually, not you individually. I need you guys to go in the room together and you as a group bring me out everything. Right. And maybe that'd be the biggest thing and the easiest way to phrase it. I would stop treating them individually. I would only refer to them or their corrections in group form. To maybe push home the point, like if all of you are not operating together at all times, we don't have, this is what our offense will be. Guys, if you can do this, we've got a guy at quarterback that's proven he can do some things. Okay. He can make some plays with his feet. If we design a real good concept, he can make some plays with his arm. And he just and you go out together. I'd sprinkle the tight ends in there too. Hey, by the way, shout out Thomas Fedoni. Not bad. Not a bad day at all blocking. Was very cool to see. I've been hard on him. I think with his immense talent and everything that he has available, I had been, the athleticism for him to catch passes, he's got all of that. And guys tell him, he's an NFL guy, he's a Sunday guy. He may be. But if you really watch the guys in the NFL, George Kittle, Laporta, like insert Iowa, and I know, but insert Iowa tight end name. Watch them block. They're monsters. They're monsters blocking. Fedoni can be that guy. He really can. And to see that, like see glimmers of it, that was cool and helpful. Like his additional effort got extra yardage. Like he's one that he can really make it go. So good for him. I'm not dying. This is post MC voice yelling into the microphone all the time. Harry Husker says O-line is solid. Harry's got some good chirps in there. I'm guessing Harry. I think I might know who Harry is. Is Iowa the worst 5-1 team in Power 5 football? I don't know, but they're 5-1. Say what you want. Win good, win bad, win ugly. It doesn't matter. If we have to win the way Iowa does by good defense and special teams, so be it. We're all sick of losing. Let's make that the identity. Yeah. For right now, it can be. But it's a foundation. The Nebraska offense was back in the day was it was what everybody wanted to talk about because it was flash, right? But what the core of that bad boy was that black shirt defense. Like those dudes, I mean, it like the offense could have an off day. You take that defense 99% of the time, just walk out like, okay, it'll be a rough day for you boys. Not gonna lie. We're about three deep with psychopaths. There's 33 of them. They're just gonna come at you in waves. And if you think it's gonna fall off from one to the next, it's not. They're all kind of the same human being. So get ready. Love it. I would love if Coach White restores the black shirt tradition to where it is a fearful thing. Now, not an overnight deal. They're making great strides. You're still ways away from the elites. But if you can take that and you start to handle the games you should handle, I'll take that. Alvano able to shake off, whatever's been bothering him and a couple field goals. He's got to be a part. He can't be a liability. And I know it's just true freshman, whatever, but he's in there. It's much like I view like if you're the guy as a true freshman, it's much like NIL money. NIL, I think, opens college player up to additional criticism. I think it's fair. If you want to make money, that's fine. You should on your name, image and likeness. But I think your critique changes because you eliminate the gist of the statement. Back in the day when people get after a kid, they'll be like, oh, he's just a kid and he's there getting an education. Okay. It changed the gist. Well, he's a kid, he's getting an education, he's just getting an education, and he's getting paid. So if anybody knows that anybody's paid for anything, they want to return on that investment. But anyway, the young guys, if we base it on defense and special teams and we win, I don't care. I don't care. If we punt inside the 5 and we play good defense and we get the ball and we kick a 30-yard field goal, take it until the offense finds its footing. 100% fine with that. John really wants me to take this laugh. I think John had told me at one point in time he's going to bring me a football down the spike. He says, when are you going to go ahead and just spike the football about what you thought from 2000? Okay, what John's referring to here is that when the hiring of the prior regime happened, I said everybody needs to just kind of pump the brakes. Okay, the two situations are totally, and it was nothing against the coaches. Like the two situations that are being inherited are completely different. Like what he inherited at UCF is a different deal. It was very over disciplined. What he's inheriting at Nebraska is very under disciplined. And I stuck by my guns, and I got a lot of direct messages and a lot of threatening things. You fat fuck, you never played, you don't know what you're talking about. I was like, yeah, buddy, I've already said that. I had the best seat in the house, and the 31 games I played in were awesome. It was great. But I've also had the opportunity to be around a lot of great coaches and a lot of great preparers and a lot of great psychologists, and what he was inheriting wasn't going to happen. I'm over the fact that I don't think there's any backlash from, but I didn't want to dunk on it. I didn't ever want somebody to say, oh, Nebraska's going to suck. But that's the way it goes. But no, I will not dunk on that. Jason says we have to. Oh yeah, I stole that from Jason. Sorry, Jason. I'm with you on that. Defense, field position, field goal, winner. Take it. If we could master the tush push, I'd be fine with that too. That was our full offensive setup. Tush push and jump pass. We'd be set. Lee says our mutual friend Jed and I fully disagree. What is your opinion? He thinks that Harburg is trash and he would take Sims 100 times out of 100. I'm on the opposite side. I'd take Henrik Harburg over Sims. I think the only game that you could really have for a comparison is Minnesota. And if you look at how Minnesota went with Sims, who's a guy that had college experience, and if you look at how Harburg was able to operate against Illinois, I currently am not going to change the hot hand. I would be on your side in this, Lee. I don't know what Sims provides in addition to. Okay. So with Harburg, Is the throwing, amazing? No, but are a lot of I don't know how you would like technical things. Are a lot of the technical things, I'll say, better. It was very frustrating to me to have a quarterback who's in control of when the ball is snapped, snap the ball into a motion man once, and then drop a snap because the motion man, you snapped it too soon. If he's crossing in front of your vision and you can't catch that, now then you get into staring down receivers. The part of it for me, mainly where I would stick with Harburg, is I think they're both the same runner in the open field. Okay. And I don't know if it's a safety thing. I don't know if they're trying to protect themselves. But when they get in the open field, if it is not a straight line shot, like Harburg was able to take advantage of, and then I got called back on holding, they run angularly to the sideline. Like I said, could just be protecting because they know, Chuba might not be able to do it, whatever it is. But when Sims had opportunity in the open field, I fully expected him to be out there. We're going to shake. We're going to make guys miss. All these things are going to happen. It's going to be awesome. And when he did have the opportunity, was in the open field, I didn't get that. It didn't. He didn't make those moves. Like I fully when he got clear a couple times, like that's a touchdown. And then there's no move and there's no cut, and it was just like boom, kind of angle to the sideline. I don't think you have a clear cut like one is better than the other quarterback, but you have a guy that's won the games he should have won. 3 wins he's responsible for. The one huge loss to a team that's much better than you, he's responsible for. But I don't think I can switch it now. I think I can have things where I get them both in the game at the quarterback position, and maybe we create some drama. Minnesota, they ran Harburg on reverse. Great. If you get a successful play on film and somebody has to like scout and watch you, you can do a lot with that. They can put Sims in at quarterback. They can put Harburg in the slot. They can run that jet, and that defense will fly over to it. And Sims can keep it, and he can go the other way. You can fake to Harburg. You can then have the back pause. You can hand it to the back, then up the middle. You can fake to Harburg, fake to the back, and then throw the ball to Fedoni. Like there's a ton of things you can do. I don't know if you necessarily want to get into playing like specialized package football, meaning we're going to send in these 4 guys and this is what we're going to do with it. But hell, why not? You're getting your more talented guys on the field, and you're giving yourself a chance to showcase what they can do. And if it is a thing where it works and you get some nice Billy Kemp, you can do that. You can throw it to him as well. You could run a jet to Kemp. You can flip it to Harburg. He can throw it. Like you can do some fun things with it. You really can. I would find ways to get them both in the game. But as far as changing it, I'm going to stick with Harburg right now because the 3 W's we have are on the board because he was the quarterback. I mean, and not to play like speculation or future guy, but you've got a chance to win 4 in a row. You really do. Correct the ball, fumbling mistakes. Find your offensive line, have them get together, get the 5, 6 plays they love to run. Just run those. But you can win the next 4. And I forget who it was at the bar that told me, but Nebraska has had when's the last time I had a 2-game winning streak? Let alone 3, let alone 4. I'd replay the line from Major League. Lou Brown. We won today. We win tomorrow. That's 2 in a row. We win the day after that. That's called a winning streak. Try it. You might like it. Could be cool. The back end of this schedule could potentially be awesome. But we can't continue to have Husker Hangover and talk about shitty offensive line play. We can't have Husker Hangover continually talk about fumbling the football. We can't have Husker Hangover talk about jumping offside because they're yelling move, shift when we're getting our stance. It's not fair. Grow up. Focus on your job. Because if you're listening to what the defense is saying, you're fucked. Jump off sides. Focus. Mentally focus on your job. Do your job. Those always crack me up. And I'm not bagging on Rule. He's defending his guys, which is cool. When you're coach, listen, Matt Rule is going to that presser. He's like, God damn it. I got to say that they were saying this move bullshit. That's why we're jumping off sides. I'm pissed at the refs. I don't want to say that. But my guys think it's now I got to say it. And I got to look like a jackass. Right? You don't want to go up there and say that. But it's bothering his guys. So he's got to say it so his guys know, hey, this guy's going to back me up. But he's going to go in the meeting and say, listen, it don't matter what they're saying. You focus on what you're doing. You focus on your job. If you can't remember it's on 2, we'll do something else. We'll put in a buzzword for it. But we can't keep talking about shit like that and win 4 in a row. Can't do it. You got to find ways to get over yourself. And pat your chest. My bad. We know it was your bad. We watched it. You're the only human being moving. So it obviously wasn't on the number you said it was on. Clean your shit up. 10 penalties, 70 yards, unacceptable. Just get that under control. We've partially put away the steel-toed boots, I'll be honest. We still got one on. We just like to test that one out every now and then, see if it works. If you're a long-time Husker Hangover listener, you'll get that reference. But it's those kind of things have to be clean. Now, beauty of this, timing of this, you got a full-blown 10 days. Okay? I hope they said, hey, boys, just get out the facility for a couple days. We played on Friday. You take Saturday, Sunday, and I don't know. I don't watch practice reports and all that crap. Take full day Saturday. Don't come in the facility. Well, if you got treatment, come and get treatment. Sunday, we'll maybe meet for meetings. But it's in and out. We'll feed you. And Monday, boom, we're getting at it. We're gonna clean some of these things up. That's one option. Option 2 is we're going to see you Saturday, and we're going to work on some of this stuff right now. And then we're going to see you Sunday. We're going to work on some more of this stuff right now. And on Monday, we're going to get the game plan for Northwestern. Like you can change it up. You can give them time. And sometimes that's good. You just press the decompress button. You just press the decompress. That's it. You get to start over. Fred asked, sorry if this is off topic. I'm glad Fred brought this up because I've gotten a lot of messages. Didn't know what happened to Damon Benning's show. It was on, then poof, gone. I have no clue. He didn't tell anybody anything really. I take that back. I think the inside of heard that. I think they knew, but I don't know. I don't know what's happening. There wasn't even a big on to the next chapter tweet or anything. That seems to be the thing when people do that. So, Fred, if I find out anything, I'll put it out on my social media, but I don't know nothing. John says Sims is a bigger guy. If Nebraska's wanting to get him on the field and Harburg still be a starter, maybe he can play. He can play left tackle. God damn it, John. I really should read those before I start reading them on air. Maybe he can play left tackle. I'm sure he can at least get in the defender's way. Turner Corcoran is probably John's favorite player to ever play football. And Turner can look real good at times, and Turner can struggle at times. And it's a tough debate because for me, I would be like, hey, if you just be in the middle all the time, we can work with that. But it's the up and down of it that's hard. Mike did bring me out Ben said, or Ben Scott, personal foul inside the red zone. Yeah, that one wasn't. That wasn't the best. Either way. But Johnny's on one today. Walter says watching Rouse for OU yesterday was infuriating. I blame 1890 for blowing his recruitment. That's okay. Here. Well, I mean, we can continue to talk about the rock fight that was the Illinois game. Illinois looked very uninterested. There's no grandiose things. We've got an off week. We won't have a show next week because there's not really much to talk about in an off week. But this, okay. I would say sooner than later, the NIL companies are going to be in-house, meaning that the university will control them. So basically, the way I understand it, the only thing these little collaboratives will do will just be to raise funds, and they will give them to the 501c3 that is inside of the building of the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. The University of Nebraska at Lincoln will then distribute the funds. It is the way I think it will end up, sooner than later. But it's a way like Nebraska when we were good, okay? We were ahead of everybody, right? Devaney and T.O. trusted Boyd to start strength and conditioning, and you were like the only one that had it, really to that level. And then now your tree, like everybody's strength and conditioning program, it's easy to get that tie back to somebody at Nebraska, somebody that they were mentored by, somebody they learned from, all that kind of stuff. Then it went to nutrition. We had a nutritionist before anybody else, Dave Ellis, awesome human being. Dave went on and worked with he works with major league teams in all the sports. He works with Olympic athletes, like forward thinking. Okay? Nebraska in its NIL setup really has to get to a more forward thinking phase of this to put pressure on it, to be further ahead than they are. What Utah did was brilliant. Okay. Boys, here's a truck. Selfishly as a coach, now I've eliminated you thinking you can't make it somewhere. Hey man, why aren't you here? Coach, the car broke down. There's a brand new truck. See it practice, right? They look great doing it because now all their guys got trucks. And I would probably throw a caveat in there, like, hey, all you seniors or juniors that have a truck, you're going to make sure you're hauling a freshman somewhere. Freshman walk on, freshman, whatever, that didn't get the truck. It's a great way to combat the portal. In my opinion, is it an end all be all? No. But it's a slick little deal. Fellas, here's your truck. This truck is yours until your eligibility is exhausted or you choose to leave Utah. So you get kind of nice. Hey, man, I like this truck. I'm doing the thing, blah, blah, blah. Coach, I'm a portal out. I'm getting out of here. Okay. Just throw your keys on the counter, leave the truck. We'll go get it. You're just, see you later, pal. Factors in. Because you get them used to life, right? You get them used to like, hey, this is pretty cool. I like this. Nebraska has to become forward thinking in this. They have to be far more aggressive than they are right now with it, because you're only going to be able to flip the roster for so long. I told you don't get super attached to anybody unless it's a blood relative on the family. Okay, don't get super attached. They're going to flip that roster again because they have to. If we look at Dion in Colorado, Dion's got the cachet to do that overnight. Because he can go in that room and say, "Hey, I'm Deion Sanders. You want to come play football for me?" And guy be like, "Yep, sure do. See you there." If you look at their setup, the way it worked, skill positions, defensive backs, they have it galore. Where it hasn't worked as well for them is in the lines, right? So now that's what they'll assess. For us, with our roster being a little bit out of whack and a little bit deficient in talent, you're probably going to see 20 to 25 guys leave. And it's the hard discussion. Hey, we love you, but to get where we want to go, we don't think this is the best. This is the best way to do it. We don't think it's going to work. We're going to do everything we can to get you where you want to go. Do you have any schools you'd like us to talk to you? Talk for you. But you got to start to use the NIL money, and it's got to be far more organized and far more professional than it is. It can't be a scramble to get it done. If that's something that they need to set up a council for, whatever it is, that has to happen. You can't have anybody going rogue and saying, "I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that," and that never happens. Because there was a kid that played defensive line a couple years back, and he said, "Well, I can't do this here. I've got to go take a shot to try to make a practice squad so I can get guaranteed money in the NFL instead of sitting around here and hoping somebody gives me money." Or not, that's poor phrasing. Hoping someone follows through on the contract that we discussed. Okay. Because this is a new phase of your athletic department. We do not want to be behind it. We have to be forward in everything. When we really hummed, we had forward thinking people. Okay, well, these guys are all kind of jacked, but they eat like crap. Like, well, let's get them nutritionists, bring a nutritionist. Now, everybody in the country has a nutritionist, and it's even gone out further. Now, every phase of your athletic department has its own nutritionist. So, nutritionist organizations or nutritionists in that, you're welcome. You can send Tom Osborne a thank you. But you've got to make it enticing because you make it easier to sell the vision. You make it easier. Hey, we know you're in Nebraska. We're going to get you here. We're going to get you extra. But you're going to fall in love with it. You're going to really love people. I had a former quarterback came in 2 Fridays ago. It didn't work out for him. He transferred out. He got an opportunity to play in the NFL. That didn't work out. So he's back here now working at the athletic department. And came in. I'm like, "Hey, great to see you back. I apologize. The adults failed you while you were here. Buy this pizza, whatever." Irrelevant to the story. I don't know why I said that. But he said, "For all that happened, I still love this place. It's a great place. They're great people." That's what you got to sell. Now, you can't sell winning currently. You can sell early playing time. Like, "Hey, man, look, you walk in, start right now. We think you're better than X, Y, and Z." "Okay, well, coach, I got this, that, the other, and they're telling me this school is going to be able to pay me this." And well, okay, we know we can get that at least. But Rule's got to have that component where he can pass that off to one of his generals or lieutenants, and then they take care of that. We are behind on this NIL stuff. We have to get ahead on the NIL stuff. That working relationship has to be better. And if it's a matter of a vote and legislation passes, you don't have to wait for anybody. If it comes up as a special bill and we as Nebraskans can vote on that and get it in house as soon as you can because we're deficient in it, straight up. And we need to be leading it. We need to be the most creative with it. If you want to get with a builder and you build a community, an athletes community, and they all get that, cool. Sign me up, whatever it is. We've got to start to press forward on that. So that's my NIL rant. If you see that come up and you have the chance, vote that thing in house right away because you can't have too many people out there and about. Patrick, I'm with you. Just to get back to football, Patrick says Maryland has lost. Yeah, I get it, but that's the fifth game. We won one. Northwestern, Purdue, Michigan State. Those are my four. But Maryland's at home, and your defense is good. Tuivasa-Loga is a problem, but just give yourself a chance. Like, and maybe in that, if your brain believes you're good to go, you might shock yourselves. Like, shit, we won that one. Wisconsin up there in Camp Randall, we don't have a lot of success, and the way we play offense right now, and the way they play defense, yeah. In Iowa, you beat when you were shitty. Now you beat Iowa when you threw it a little bit better than you do now. Their best cornerback was hurt. But just focus on the off week, clean up all the crap, and be ready. It's there's all is not lost. And you still warn wherever the bowl game is at. Hey, you about to sell more blue yummies and more steaks than you've ever sold in your life. Don't let anybody park in your parking lot. Sell seating to it, $400 a parking stall. You'll sell them all. If you make 4,000, 8,000 shirts, normally make 16,000 because there's a lot of Nebraskans coming cash in hand. Right? But they'll win these four and then get to go do that. Patrick also says sad that Iowa will lose Brian Ferentz to the contract stipulation. Kind of hoping they keep him to help our cause. As it can be, hey, listen, if anybody wants to tank and give up a bunch of points to Iowa, we all as Nebraskans would greatly appreciate that. It would be phenomenal if we could do that. Dion, I'm with Dion on this. Dion says so proud of his team. They fought hard. They did. They did. They played. They played well. Paulie lives out in Cal. I think Paulie's still in California. Paulie's one of our old strength conditioning guys. Thanks for listening, Paul. Says Harburg has thrown into some really tight windows. It's impressive. Yes, he has. That delivery. I don't know if he's got a shoulder issue. His delivery seems to like really, really start to be dropping to the side. And I don't know why. I'm not a fan of that, but it is what it is. Shawnee says breakaway speed is only good if you can take care of the chalupa. True. Good point. Got to protect the ball. Andrew chimes in on our quarterback discussion. You have to go to the guy that gives them the best chance to win. The offense is going to be ugly. Just need to do enough. Defense should be good the rest of the season. I agree. I mean, it ain't pretty. Listen, if we can get in rock, if we can be the king of rock fights and we win those rock fights, sign me up. Sign me up. I don't care what it looks like. Just 1 point more. If we have 1 point more, that's all that matters to me. The false start number in the comments is going up quite rapidly. We're up to 239 false starts this season. Walter has a great question. Walter, potentially Gary Sharp, has a great question. How can the sloppiness be allowed in practice? Okay. I do not think the sloppiness is allowed in practice. All right. There comes a point in time when when you get to the stage, okay? You've done all the behind the scenes prep, you're out on stage now, and you get jumpy, and you don't necessarily have full faith and confidence in everybody around you, and you try to do too much. And I think the false starts, you're so you're so jazzed up to get going because you know that you have to make the block that you lose your focus. And I don't know what the correction is in practice after it happens in the game, but you're trying to do too much, or you don't fully trust what you're doing yourself. So you're trying to jump the snap and get going a little further. That way, if you screw up, at least you're in the right position, which is a ball you man position. If you do screw up, then that person still has to run through you or around you to make a play, and then that's time. Then you should be. That's the practices I was at. Those mistakes were corrected in an awesome manner. They really were. Tim says rule is good shit. I feel like he's got the to golly speaking pogo, but probably the bow. That'd be a great combo, actually. The bow, what the fuck speak in the locker room. Yeah, that is true. That is very true. He he I I 100% Verzal approve of his use of language in the practice facility. I didn't know. Preachers' kids make me nervous, to be honest. And people that are overly religious, I have a problem with because I think it's too far. You can take that for what you will. Um, but I was like, oh man, are we gonna get out here? This guy's gonna be like, golly gosh, guys, come on. Then the first day that happened in practice, he got pissed. And it was just I'm not ratting him out. Others have said it, but there's a couple F bombs. There's I was like, okay, this guy, yeah, all right. Never heard that one before. Good job there. Okay, let's practice. But yeah, he I like it. And people, struggles and things go bad. Panic button, fully depressed. Like I got people coming up like, Verse, sorry to do this to you, but this rule guy. I'm like, guys, we're 6 games into this. He's inherited a bad roster. If you thought you didn't like the prior guy's buyout, wait till you see this guy's buyout if you get rid of him after 1 year. I'm like, let's pump the brakes. Let's let him flip it again, see what happens. But we're making progress. But it's the passion of the fan. They want to win. They don't want to suck anymore. We don't have pro stuff here. This is our pro stuff. And our pro stuff is not very good at times. They won this week. Awesome. We're 3-3. Can't God, I'd love to utter the statement. We won all of the games we should win. But that Minnesota start just jammed us. Well, we jammed ourselves. But the pride in it and the fact that when that organization down there at One Memorial Drive is running the way it should, this place gets even better. Nebraska gets even more awesome because everybody's hyped and everybody's got an identity and everybody's got a puffy chest. Everybody's proud. These are our boys. Look at them go. They represent us. They work hard. They play hard. They do this shit. It's awesome. But when they struggle, we get hunched shoulders. Like, man, what's wrong? How we fix this? What we do? What does this look like? Blah 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 blah. I don't know if you fully comprehend it. It goes back to the talk of the quarterback though that was in and got some pizza. They know, like they know that it means a ton to these people, and when they do good, it means even more. And so that's the sauce. We're in it with them, but when they're good and it gets better, it's there's no better place to be. Tim asked a question that a lot of people ask me. When is the show going to be hosted at a local pizza shop up 156th and Center with a live audience of breakfast pizza asking for everyone? Okay, here's the deal. Herd at is in sport. Herd at Sports is in a lot of transition with their internal workings. As we talked about before, I got no clue what Damon's doing. He didn't tell me shit. So it's obviously his business. He can handle it how he wants. With Andrew moving to do a show with somebody, they don't have that set up yet. But Cam, who is our Sunday guy, now works all week. He works Monday to Saturday. So then they took Cam off as the producer. And so then I've had to bootleg this setup here at Paisans, and I think somebody called it a dungeon. This is just my office. So I don't have a producer to do this. I am reaching out to a former producer from the radio station to gauge his interest and see if he wants to pick up a little part-time gig and come over and help me out. You would know him. He used to be the producer on the afternoon show on radio station. So I am currently trying to get him in the mix and see what he thinks. So maybe I'll still try, and I'll let you guys know as soon as we can. But I also do have another idea. I'm thinking about just doing it on Monday, about 10ish, no show, live, no phones. First 50 people that sit down, I think we have 50 seats in the dining room. First 50 people sit down, that's it. I'll go get a coffee maker and I'll make breakfast pizza and we'll just sit out and have almost a morning cafe session. So yeah, in the comments you can let me know what you think of that. How you like them apples? All right, a couple more comments here. I do have to run over to football meeting. We got a big one this week. If you're in Omaha and you want to come watch a really good football game, the Skyhawks of Scott Catholic play the Blue Devils of Plattsmouth. And I have had this one circled on my calendar because our game last year against them was awesome. We escaped by the skin of our teeth. They have a couple players on there that I am big fans of. They've got a kid that will play guard and tackle for them, Dylan Eby, who is kind of right on the cusp of probably an opportunity to walk on at Nebraska. And they have a middle linebacker, and his number is 44. And little buddy is about that life. Like he is a runner hitter, and it is awesome. Like he plays hard. He hits people like okay. So I'm coaching, and sometimes you're just watching players. And as I coach, I always try to like find one kid that we're gonna play against that I watch his film, and I was like, man, I really like that. And then the handshake line, I'll just say it, number 67. His name's actually Mateo, which is cool for Ralston this week. Kid just plays hard the whole game. Does he get out of position sometimes? Yeah. But is he everything he's got from the start to the finish? Yes. So in the handshake line, I say, hey man, I love to watch you play. I hope you keep going that hard the whole time. It doesn't mean anything to the kid probably, but it means like I just want them to know I'm acknowledging that. We're playing Plasma last year at 44, and he hit one of our dudes, and I turned around, I was like, you guys better strap it on. Like that guy is about this life. Like he likes this. He ain't doing that. That wasn't a fluke. So you better know where he's at because he's gonna get you. And that's okay. I can do that as a coach. I can acknowledge, hey, they got a dude over there, little buddy's about that. So yeah, if you get a chance to swing out, I think it's gonna be an awesome game. It should. Both teams are physical. Both teams like to get after it, and it'll be if you're available, swing out. John says if you want NIL to take off, you better get. I can't do that. All right. Okay. The comment section took a turn for the worse there. There's a lot of bashing on a former employee of Nebraska. We're not going to go down that road. I don't have the time nor the effort to give it. But oh no, Husker Hangover is still just to clarify. If we do the Monday thing, Husker Hangover will still go. I just that's an easier way for me to get that accomplished than trying to have me go out and set this up in the dining room, have all you guys come in, have me make pizzas, and then have me get you drinks. It's just gonna be weird. I'll have to buy a lavalier microphone so I can walk around and you guys have all seen what my technological skills are as we mute in and out of this thing week in and week out. But we will you guys just hit me up. If you got it, if you like that, just respond at verse 51, let me know. And then that I think I can pull off a lot easier. And then you guys just come with questions. We'll just fire them out and get after it. We'll set a dollar amount. You set it on the bar. I'll have breakfast pizza and bootleg a coffee machine, and we'll have a morning. Take me back to the good old days in Newman Grove at the City Cafe in Newman Grove with my grandpa after we did a little choring. I do it ain't choring, but that's the way to go. Guys, unfortunately, I got to wrap it up for the day. I got to head over to meetings real quick, and then I got to get back here to get to work. But I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate you guys putting up with me. And I think we did all right this week. A couple mutes in the middle there, a couple audio problems initially, but I think I now took some notes and got that figured out, so we should be able to pass on that in the future. But have a great Sunday. Enjoy the beautiful weather. If you're getting out in golf, hit a couple bombs for me. And we'll see you guys next week after in 2 weeks after hopefully another Nebraska win over Northwestern. Appreciate you guys hanging out. This is Matt Birdsall, Husker Hangover, and we gone.